I want to kind of dig into something that from your past experience that was really interesting. So we've always wondered about this whole music NFT,
Yeah.
and just kind of whether it's like, okay, so like how I understand music NFT is that you have the rights to, like a song, IP, and that's, like it's verifiable by like, on chain, just like how you do for NFTs. However, NFTs like it has a little bit of like a show culture where you
Yeah.
can show off your profile photos and you get into the whole community with other people who are identifying as that picture, right? It's like it's
Mm,
very tied to your identity, which
yeah.
is very interesting
It's
to me.
very community based
Um,
and like, yeah.
yeah, it's community based. I really like that, and I think I've seen you post a couple of things about like Me Lady in the last few posts and
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that. So definitely want to get into like some of those like more DJing communities as well. But in terms of music NFTs, like do you like from your past experience, like dealing with musicians and like doing promotion for these musicians and things like that? Do you think there's a like a legs to like music NFTs,
Y-
or do you think it's just one of those things that people just kind of came up with?
Yeah. So the state of it right now isn't, I wouldn't say there's the utility there quite yet. I think
Mm,
there's two avenues that crypto is going to really kind of change the music industry. The first will be royalty payments from streaming services. Like I already know for sure that Spotify and Apple are working on ways to pay musicians in microtransactions for their royalties. Because right now the way royalties works is you get paid every quarter and you have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get paid. It's a pain in the ass.
okay.
Spotify's changed that a little bit, made it a little easier, but I know they're working on ways to do microtransactions with low fees to pay artists, weekly or monthly, their
Right.
royalties. That's going to be huge for for smaller independent artists. That
Mm,
might be a year or two away, and then the most intriguing thing I think for music NFTs, which might even be farther down the line, will be I guess fan sourcing uh, their favorite artists. So like if a new artist comes out and that has a small following, they can kind of sell portions of the royalties of their music to the fans. And like as an
okay.
NFT, so these fans kind of own like a tiny piece of the royalty, and they'll get paid, the percentage of the royalty moving forward. So say you
Right.
find a new artist on SoundCloud that's tiny, and you just know like in your heart they're going to blow up, and they have music for sale. Their royalties are for sale, and you're like, I'm going to buy a percentage of their royalties as an NFT and just hold it. And then 2 years later, that artist blows up, and you're making like a decent amount of money from that little royalty,
Mm,
and you also got to fund that artist early on in their career. So I think that's probably my favorite use case. I've talked to a few companies. I almost went to LA to work for one that's trying to build it. Um,
no way.
it's
Okay.
just a lot of the problem is the music industry doesn't understand crypto and crypto doesn't understand the music industry.
Exactly.
So like it's
Exactly.
really hard to connect those two worlds when like everyone just talks past each other. So it'll come, but it'll take it'll take some work. But yeah, those are the two real. There's a lot of use cases for the music side of things. It's just right now it's nothing. It's all kind of like just for show. I mean, some artists are selling NFTs just for extra money and stuff, but it's not really about the music. Um, so yeah, I still think we're a few years away from music NFTs being any type
Mm.
of game changer, but it will disrupt the industry completely within 5 years or so. I truly believe that.
Is that because of like the microtransaction aspect and then the ability to own royalty? Is that
Yeah,
the disruption?
yeah. So the disrupt. So right now
Mm,
with collecting royalties, there's a bunch of middlemen which take their percentages along the way. So
cuts. Right.
artists end up with half of what they should. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but
Mm,
if you can streamline royalties directly from the streaming services to the artists without middlemen having to broker that, you can put a lot more
right.
money in these independent artists' pockets and the major artists. Um, so that's I'm really excited about that. I was talking about that in 2017 because when I was really deep in the Spotify playlist game, and I saw what was going on then, and I was like, this could be interesting, and it just never really came to fruition. I know Spotify's working on it. I guess it's just a really complicated thing to implement. Um,
Yeah, because it's regulation and like all these loophole, sorry, like
yeah,
all these like regulatory structures and past laws and stuff like that, right?
yeah, and they're working on a million things already with their own features. So it's not like they really
Mm,
have they're going to eventually have to have a whole crypto sector of their company to build this out. So I don't know. I don't know the timeline on it really, but yeah, that, and then also being able to fund new artists that you discover, and then kind of betting that they're gonna blow up one day, and you own a piece of those royalties. Yeah, both really interesting things. Like I kind of my mid to long term plan is to pivot back to music at some point. I just needed to get away from it so I could actually make real money. Because I was an artist manager for 7 years, and made $0 doing that. It was all just my PR and marketing company was how I was surviving. So I was
Oh,
tired
okay.
of the no money grind and traveling the country, you know, sleeping on couches. So so I left.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty rough.
But yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
back eventually, like in an advisory role. I still want to work with the artists that I used to work with, but I
Mm.
got to make some crypto money first, and then we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think yeah, I feel like you hit the nail on the with the whole analogy for like music doesn't industry crypto and crypto doesn't understand music. I think I've seen the same cases for a lot of crypto projects. Like STO was a big one back in 2017, 2018, where there was a lot of use case for it, but I just felt like it was just off in terms of the crypto's ability to jump through all those regulations in order
Hmm.
to make STOs happen, security token offerings for those who weren't here in the early days. But basically like real estate and like
Yeah,
tokenizing real estate, tokenizing. They're coming back with a new narrative, new acronym called Real World Asset (RWAs)
yeah.
these days. But yeah, like it's been around. That narrative's been around for a while, but it's just like it never felt that there's a PMF, like product market fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I agree with the music side as well.